Hey Pisces, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings, so we take what works. Excuse me. Where did that come from? And we leave what doesn't, as with everything in life. Just a heads up, I'm going to slow the pace of these readings down just a little bit over the next couple weeks, just because I actually don't know how. I'm slowing it down a little bit. Things got a little busy here, and I'm not going to be able to get all the readings out this week, which will be fine. It's exactly as it's supposed to be. So, but lucky you're one of the ones that get a reading this week. So that's good. And then we'll just see what happens, but a little slower. So I'm starting with some oracle decks for an intuitive vibe here of where we might be going. What on earth happened? Oh, wow. Okay. Some intuitive vibe of where we might be going, and then hopefully if I have time after this book came out, we'll do the Muse Tarot for a more traditional spread. All right, so we have Butterfly Garden. You've changed, you've grown, you're fascinated by some new idea that you have, or some way in which you've changed or grown, and you're different, and it's caught your attention. You're very fascinated by your own growth, which is really beautiful and cute. It's like, oh, look at me. I'm growing. I'm different. What is this different thing in my field of vision that I am? What is this? I've changed. I've moved. A lot of close observation of yourself, your life. Some really good close observation. Oh, we have Lullaby. This is deeply turning off the mind and just feeling your way, listening to the vibe, feeling the vibe, getting in touch with your intuition, getting in touch with your deeper self, just really vibing with your own vibe. And you're fascinated by it. There's some sort of feeling or depth here. And this has to do with close observation, but we're shutting down the whole visual observation center, and the whole thing right here is just getting a little cap put on it so that we can really feel this. And Lullaby, I love it because it's talking about listening to music, but no music's being played. We're listening to our own music within, and there's something inside of us that we really like, that we're really fascinated about. Ooh, I like it. It feels like you're getting really in touch with yourself, and you're loving it. You love who you find. You love what's in there. Some sort of really deep intuition, and you're really fascinated by it. Beautiful energy to be in for at least a little while. And then we have treasured memories, something really on your mind from the past, or maybe a more passionate time, maybe a more passionate place. You're not letting go of this memory. It's going to continue to move forward with you. This is when we do cloud meditation, or mind as sky. Like, we can think of this as our horizon, and the mind is just at one with the sky above us, and then that expands out. So we can think of thoughts as like these clouds that go through, right? And they go through, and they pass through, but there's one here that's not passing through. It's not moving on. You're holding on to that. It brings you a lot, and these treasured memories are so beautiful because they remind us of what's possible. You know, if we were in love once, we can be in love again. If we were happy once with something, we can do that again. It reminds us that capability is within us, and that we can if life allows that opportunity to return to us, we're capable of it. So that's really beautiful to remember. A beautiful feeling, a beautiful emotion maybe, and even looking at how you've changed. But it could be even like holding on to a memory, but yet you're changing at the same time. But yet you're still the same. You still have the same vibe. All right. Oh my goodness. Dear me. Okay. Oh, good gracious. I'm having quite a reaction here to some of this stuff. Oh, let's just jump in, break the chain, and break the chain, ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. So there's some way, maybe from your past, that you've done something, that you've behaved, some sort of pattern, way of thinking. You may have inherited it from your family. It may have been something from your childhood, that of how the world works, some sort of understanding of maybe how the world works and who you are in it and how this is all going to go on, and you've got to you're breaking free of that. You're breaking free of some way of relating to life, some way of relating to your own path, from some way even probably of relating to yourself, like especially if you weren't loving yourself or really loving your own vibe. If you didn't love that, if you learned to hate that or learned that needed to be changed or fixed, we're breaking that now. We're breaking free of that now, that we can just some sort of old pattern, some sort of old way of relating to something, maybe even that fear of joy, that fear of that maybe even relating to life through fear instead of through moving towards our joy, just through fear. Some sort of way we're rewriting that, changing that. So your dreams need a practical plan, though. So there's something that you'd like to do, but there's some sort of practical aspect that needs to be taken care of here. There's some sort of, to-do item, checklist, to-do item that needs to be actually done in actual reality. This is full moon in Taurus. Dreams needing a practical plan. You may have gotten a little lazy. This is getting organized. Getting organized because we have be bold and make the first move, cardinal moon. So being bold and making the first move, sometimes the first move is just organizing something, is connecting, is contacting, is something. And being bold isn't necessarily being brash. We can be bold, but also in a planned way, in an organized way. We don't just have to impulsively do something. That's not necessarily what this cardinal moon is talking about. Being bold and making the first move. So you need to take action here. You need to take action to break some sort of cycle. You need to take action to, or planning a practical plan. You need to take some movement in. So, okay, so now what's this look like in reality? We have this dream, we have this vision. What's this look like in reality? We have priestess. How are you being called to step up and lead? So you're the one that needs to do that. We have this with be bold and make the first move. You need to take some sort of initial leadership in the situation here and help guide us forward into a new pattern and a new way of being and a new way of relating to each other, something like that. And then we have Pleiades. This is why I'm saying relating. Double mission, channeling, uplifting humanity. This is typically a conversation that needs to happen that's going to be really uplifting and really enjoyable for everybody, and is going to be an exciting, thrilling conversation that needs to happen, but you've got to make the first move. You've got to take those first steps. You can plan it out. There's some sort of exciting dream you have, maybe, that you're really fascinated by, but it needs action. You're going to have to be the one that moves that forward. I'm sorry to say, but it is all about breaking patterns, maybe breaking patterns of how you typically behave in this situation, maybe breaking patterns of how you relate to somebody else. This is all about relationships and relating and how we talk about things. And how we relate to things. And then we have full moon in Aries. It just gave me chills. A fiery climax approaches. So something exciting is about to happen. And I think you're the one that's going to make it happen. You've got to make it happen, and you've got to do something practical to make it happen. But it looks like something exciting could be coming in here. This is all like contemplation, vibe situation. This is all like vibing, thinking, remembering, and then this whole second half is like initiating, planning, making it happen, and it's going to be exciting and cool. So breaking an old pattern. There's something from your past for sure that we're talking about here, because we're talking about memories and patterns. So there's something back there, and perhaps that thing is just a memory because of the pattern because of the way you relate to things. And so there's some memory back there that maybe you'd like to revisit, you maybe like to go back to as the new person that you are, and break some sort of pattern, break some sort of pattern from your past. Well, yeah, because we can't have patterns in the future. We don't know what those are. You're creating new patterns for the future, but we can't. We don't need to break our future patterns. We need to break our past patterns. So it's kind of funny way to put that. All right, Pisces, what do we have here? We have your past, your present, your inner landscape. What's at issue? No way. Your environment, your to-do list, and your possible outcome. Oh, we got 2 reversals. Two accidental reversals. Okay, there are no accidents in tarot. So here we have in your recent past 10 of materials, something reached maximum happiness. Possibly this treasured memories. There was a lot of happiness, a lot of joy, something manifested. You made something happen. You already know you can make something happen. You made something happen. It brought a lot of happiness. There could be a lot of money in the past, inheritance, something was completed, a whole cycle, a whole situation in reality came to fruition, and you made it happen. You brought this thing into reality. There was a lot of support. There was maybe a lot of money, a lot of happiness, a lot of joy. Family, all of this. You made something happen. It was beautiful. It was fun. It was great. It was this treasured memory. It was wonderful. And then in your current situation, you have reverse Ace of Voices. You're not getting an epiphany. Oh my gosh, you're supposed to be bold. You're supposed to make a first move. You're supposed to take leadership, but you don't know how. You don't have the insight. You don't see exactly where this is going. You don't have what's not happening right now is a sudden insight or a new communication hasn't happened yet. This is why you have to take the leadership, because it's just not, the current situation doesn't have a clear goal, doesn't have a clear understanding, maybe even a clear communication, a clear idea. It's just not coming in for you, how you're supposed to do this, what's supposed to happen next. There's no epiphany here. There's no sudden aha moment. You're just not getting it. It's just not here yet, or it's just not coming. That in your present situation, you're lacking some sort of idea, some way, the inspiration that you need. In your inner landscape is the High Priestess in reverse. So this is, you could be keeping secrets from yourself, hiding things, hiding something, intentionally. You could be afraid of what's being hidden from you. You could be worried about that. You could be worried that you're hiding something from yourself, that you can't see this all, that there's something in the dark. You could be hoping to keep your secrets, hoping to keep some things in the dark, hoping that that maybe you can move forward with this without having to reveal something, without having to express something. And there's a sense of also not seeing where this is going. I mean, both this Ace of Swords reverse and the High Priestess reverse. This is in the upright. The High Priestess would be about intuition, faith, taking steps. The end result being intentionally hidden from you, so that you don't miss a step. So that you're very thorough with your work right here, because we don't want that. That end result, we don't want you rushing to the end result. We want you taking the steps. But in reverse, that these are both in reverse here. This Ace of Swords is talking about not having a clear idea, not having the inspiration that you need, or not having the communication or the beginning of the communication that you need in order to move forward, not being able to see something or clearly understand something. And this High Priestess could be fears about what's being hidden from you, fears that this isn't actually going anywhere, fears that you're hiding things from yourself. It's less about faith and more about fear that there's just so much you can't see here, and you can't even see you can't see where it's going. Maybe it's not going anywhere. You can't see the next step, and there's a lack of faith. And you could be afraid of a lack of faith, afraid of that. and worried about everything that's being hidden from you. And at the same time, I feel like you might be hopeful that you'll be able to hide something, because there's a lack of honest communication coming in here, a lack of the intention for clear communication, clear understanding. You may not even want that. Maybe, that's not happening, but maybe it's not happening because you don't want it. You could be worried about all the things in your subconscious, and at the same time hopeful that you can keep something hidden, because this could be that you aren't bringing in the communication. You aren't communicating very clearly here. You're not bringing in the idea that you might have, but you might be hiding it or keeping it a secret. What's at issue here is the Temperance card. There's something rough, something a little jagged here that's not being sanded down. Things aren't blending quite the way you wanted it to. There could be some impatience here, some frustration. It's not very smooth. What's going on right now isn't very smooth, isn't very cohesive. There could be different sides having dug in their heels and not being able to come together. It could just be two things not coming together yet, that are supposed to sort of come together in this peaceful, strong, and very palatable way. But the situation isn't very palatable at this point. It's not very easy to deal with. Let me turn off my heater. And it's not there's something here that's not as easy as, or as smooth as you'd hoped it to be. It's not, it might be, there might be a sense of rushing something so that it's not having the time that it needs to sort of get kind of finessed together and shaken together. I mean, this is my bartender, and the bartender's just really not, because she's shaking things. She's shaking the bitters and the simple syrup together and making it all more palatable. But something is still very impalatable, maybe too strong, not coming together, not being blended. There's a lack of blending and palatableness to the situation. In your environment, we have 7 of emotions. This is there's just a lot going on, a lot of choices, a lot of decisions, a lot of things to prioritize. Your environment is just giving you a lot of choices, a lot of options. It can be a little overwhelming. Not knowing, I don't want to say not knowing what to choose, but just having a lot going on here, a lot on your plate, a lot to prioritize and sort through, a lot of emotions to sort through, a lot of feelings to sort through, and things to prioritize. So your environment seems a little overly full right now with feeling. There's a lot of I'm getting a vibe off this card that is hard to put into words, and that's been lately over the last couple of weeks. The 7 of emotions has really been speaking to me about having sort of a lot of emotions going on all of the time, and your environment is presenting a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings, a lot of, there's a way we can intellectualize this card about making choices, making decisions, having an inner debate about what's most important to me. What's the most important feeling? But right now, but the feeling behind the 7 of emotions is really about this sense of there's just a lot, and it's not even having to pick. It's almost feeling like not choosing, not necessarily picking and choosing. That's like a very intellectual way to talk about emotionally overwhelming situations, or just having all the feelings all the time. There's just a lot in your environment right now that's bringing up a lot of feelings, maybe some memories, maybe some ways of doing things, and maybe you're navigating something in your environment is asking you to navigate through different emotions, through a different emotional space, to maybe even make a different emotional choice, right? Because we're breaking this cat. No, we're not. We're not breaking the cat. The cat is breaking my reading. But we're talking about this breaking the chain here. And so in some ways I feel like this is like something's presenting you to make a different emotional choice here, and to make a new choice, and to break some sort of pattern, break the chain that you've been in, that's prevented you from really blending with something, or making something more palatable, or having something go a little easier. It's not easy. It's not as easy as you wanted it to be, and it feels actually a little overwhelming and a little difficult, and you've got to choose sort of a new way to do it, a new way to navigate this that maybe you haven't done before, and that can feel really overwhelming and really difficult. So there's something in your environment here, something going on around you that's asking you to make a different emotional choice, or to just to prioritize, but it's like it's almost like you get to decide how you want to feel about something. And that in itself is that freedom and that power could feel a little overwhelming, and you just don't know how you want to feel about it. How are you going to feel about this? But there's something here that's triggering your emotions, and it's like triggering all of them. But that means you get sort of a smorgasbord of emotions. So then we have the 7 of inspiration. This is your to-do list, standing your ground, fighting for what you want. I mean, a lot of things are pulling at you, but what do you want? This is about holding your own space for what you want. And I think that you might know, but there might be things pulling at you external to you that are telling you that, or indicating that you should prioritize something else, you should do something else. But this is really sort of this 7 of inspiration is about standing your ground, holding your own space for your own beliefs, your own desires, your own intuition, and holding that space open. I always get the feeling that the elevator door wants to close, and she's holding it open for herself, for her own dream to be able to come through and come into reality. So she's like, yeah, I know all of these pressures are coming in on me. There's a lot of pressure on me right now, but I'm holding this space because there's an intuitive thing that I believe, that I have faith in, that I want to come in here. And so I'm going to hold this, I'm going to hold it back. I'm going to hold the darkness back. I'm going to hold maybe even the self-doubts back, so that this dream and this vision can really have a clear way through. But there is a sense of holding the doubters, holding the naysayers, even the internal naysayers at bay here, and keeping the space open for hope, for your dream, for your vision of what you want to have happen. Where we're going, the end of a painful situation, a very painful, piercing, difficult situation. This is the 10 of voices. This is the end of it. This is, and Aquarius actually just got this card too. This is something very painful, something very difficult coming to an end. It looks like it might be very exciting the way it comes to an end, but it's the end of a difficult journey, the end of a difficult space. It could have been a very difficult mental space, and you're holding the doors open for hope here because you're breaking some sort of pattern, some sort of way of relating here. So it could be the end of this painful emotional space, this painful ideas, maybe even painful self-talk, and you're holding that all at bay for your hope to come through and come in. And it's different for you, but it is you taking action for your own dreams here and what you want to see, even though so many things are pulling at you and telling you to prioritize me, but you're holding back what wants to crush you, what wants to delete your dream, I guess, delete you, I guess. And then where you're going is it's the last, it's the end. This part is over, this section is over. There's nothing more to pierce you. You've been pierced as much as you can be. And so the 10 of voices is really talking about the end of a painful period of time that's been very difficult, and it has pierced your heart and wounded you. The end of the wounding. The wounding stops so that the healing can begin. So the 10 of voices, even though it looks a little scary, it's a beautiful card of just like, it's the wounding is over now. And in this situation, there will be no more of that. I'm loving this especially with this 7 of inspiration here. Dream your dreams. Trust that the desires in your heart are placed there lovingly by the universe. You're meant to dream of what you dream. So very beautiful, holding space for that dream to come through. And this might be a very different way of you being and interacting with the world, but it's beautiful. All right, Pisces, have a great week.